Welcome back. You're watching Mirror Now. Unprecedented afternoon here for those of us who even cover the news, because we've never had anything like this happen before. There are members of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha particularly who moved an impeachment motion against the Chief Justice of India, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. 64 members of Parliament have signed that impeachment letter. Handed it over to the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, the Vice President of India. As per the process, the Vice President will now examine that motion and perhaps then call an inquiry of 3 eminent members of the judicial system. One judge of the High Court, one of the Supreme Court, and an eminent jurist who will then submit, that committee will then submit a report on the allegations that have been made. My colleague Aarti joins me now from the newsroom. Aarti, we just heard senior lawyers speak with us on the phone line. Most of them seemed very, very concerned about what's happening. One of them, in fact, Geeta Luthra and Prashant Bhushan actually talked about how process would normally include the chairperson conferring with the Chief Justice. In this case, that's not going to be possible because the motion has been moved against the Honorable Chief Justice himself.
Yes, of course. Now, the chairman has to constitute a 3-member committee, one of whom is the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court. In this case, as it is the Chief Justice himself, it's highly unlikely. Now, the second senior-most member of the Supreme Court is Justice Chelameshwar, who is slated to vacate office in June 2018. So it remains to be seen who this member of the Supreme Court is going to be, if such a panel, of course, is constituted. The second member will be a senior-most judge of the High Court, and the third, an eminent jurist. After this committee deliberates the matter, if they do uphold the charges, they will pass their committee report on to the members of the Parliament, where this report will be deliberated. Of course, if and only if 2/3 majority accept the findings of the committee, can impeachment motions really be considered to be, only then is the judge really impeached.
All right. Thanks, Aarti. We're going to take a look at some of the reactions that are still coming in as members of Parliament actually react, senior legal minds as well, giving us their opinion on what's going on today.
We've sought guidelines regulating the procedure of removal of a judge which happens outside the Parliament. That is, prior to the initiation of motion, whenever the political parties, whichever are interested or are going to or want to, are desirous of moving any motion or gathering support, the issue cannot come in the public domain, and that is precisely what we have asked on the Supreme Court, that this issue cannot be in the public domain because it tends to lower the independence and sanctity of the judiciary and the entire institution as such. So this is the petition which we have filed, and the court has been pleased to issue notice and also seek assistance of the Attorney General in this regard.
Congress, which backed off last time, now they're getting desperate. They'll get a thrashing in Parliament. They are the ones who didn't want Parliament to proceed. BJP never said, no, you can't discuss this. It's they who raised all this hangama on one silly issue after another and blocked Parliament. Where do they get from here? Just wasting time of Parliament, in a sense, because it looks to the people that there's some witch hunt, that maybe they are trying to frighten the Chief Justice. He's not going to be frightened. If there was any chance of his being frightened, it would have been now.
So we have moved a motion for impeachment for the removal of Chief Justice of India under 5 listed grounds of misbehavior. So we have submitted a motion signed by 71 members of the Parliament, but we have also given him in writing that there are 7 signatures of honorable members who have meanwhile retired. So we have said in the letter that those 7 members should not be counted out of the 71 members. So I am sure that the minimum requirement, more than the minimum requirement to entertain the motion, that much number we have submitted.
उम्मीद है कि संविधान के मुताबिक चेयरमैन इसके ऊपर फैसला करेंगे।
5 पॉइंट्स जो है वो उसमें लिखे हुए हैं एंड वी आर सीरियस।
आपकी पार्टी ने समर्थन
जी वी हैव